Hey guys, it's X, bringing you another Advanced Warfare video. Played around a little bit more with the Riot Shield, except I added a little bit of a twist to this match, and to the build in general. Something that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to keep. So, you may notice here on the loadout screen that I have added an Exo Shield ability. Yep, I've got my Exo Shield and my Riot Shield. I am running around in this map with 2 shields. How many shields does a guy need? The answer is 2. And if I could get a third, I'd probably take it. Now, this match is chock full of lessons to be learned. I learned a lot of things in this match, and I applied those things in this very match. But there's so much going on that I found it difficult. I tried recording this video once before, and I found it very difficult for me to point out all the things that are going on, and when I apply all those things in this particular match during a post-commentary while the game is running at 100% speed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kick back. We're going to watch this match play out. You can get to see some of the things as they happen. And then after this, I want to highlight some of the things that I learned, some of the more important things, some of the more significant and more noticeable things that I learned during this matchup. It may not be everything that that I practiced on or that I was able to take away from this matchup, but after we see it play out, we will cover some of the more prominent things. That was one of them, actually, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I am running 2 shields in this setup, and I find that this lets me be more aggressive with my laser rifle than I was in the previous shield video, or LOL shield, I guess you would call it. So in my previous, or actually my first Advanced Warfare video, I was running around with the Riot Shield and doing some cool stuff, and it was a very short match. I jumped into the match late. This is one that I started right at the start of the match, so, you know, as I'm playing the whole matchup with the Riot Shield. And in that first video, I didn't make too much use of my rifle. I wasn't sure how to synergize the rifle and the shield and all of that good stuff. But here, the addition of the Exosuit Shield, which is a very quick to deploy version of the Riot Shield, really, but it only lasts a short while. But the addition of the Exo Shield enables me to have 2 modes of play. And keep that term in mind, modes of play. I'm going to talk about that again later. But the first mode of play happens and lasts, well, okay, it happens when I first spawn, so I get taken out. Now my exosuit ability is refreshed, which is the Exo Shield. This lets me run around with my rifle out, and it lets me pull flanks and support teammates by firing long distance with my laser rifle. You know, just play normal Advanced Warfare. It lets me run around with a gun, run and gun, shoot some stuff, while still having the ability to defend myself with the shield. This is my first mode of play. It's my aggressive infantry rifle mode of play, and this lasts for as long as I have the Exo Shield. So this is my first mode of play of the 2 that I have with this particular build, because there's 2 different playstyles that I have with this build, and I switch between the 2. So in this first mode of play, we're running around with a gun and just playing normal Advanced Warfare. The second mode of play happens once the Exosuit Shield is depleted. And we're going to see that here. I get fired on, I use the Exosuit Shield, and now it's depleted, so I switch back over to my Riot Shield. This is the second mode of play. Now I'm no longer running around with my laser rifle out. I don't have a gun readily available. So now I'm having to play a more defensive role. I'm playing a more supportive role for my teammates. It's keeping me alive longer. We can see here I'm going to take some fire from some enemies from behind, so I'm going to use the shield as a distraction. The enemies at the end of the hallway there, or at the end of the room there, are taken out by a friendly. Well, one of them is taken out by a friendly. And, I don't know, basically it just lets me have 2 different modes of playing around with this game. So, here we are. I've just respawned. I've got this first mode of play going. You can see I'm running around with my rifle. I'm not really worried about running into any 1v1s because I've got this Exosuit Shield. And here, yeah, I take some shots from behind. I turn around, I use the Exosuit Shield. There's nobody firing at me at that point, but it's better safe than sorry. And then immediately after my Exosuit Shield is down, I'm no longer in that laser rifle aggressive mode of play. I'm still aggressive, but it's aggressive in a different way. I'm more defensive with the Riot Shield. This is the second mode of play that I'm in, so that's important to note. That's important. That's something to watch for. We're going to talk about that again a little bit later. I really like how intricate this build is. This build has two ways that you should play it, and when you switch, it's not wholly dependent on you. I like this particular part of the match because we can see an enemy duck behind cover there. I can't see him, but I am firing my laser rifle behind him because he was engaging a friendly of mine off to the right side of the screen. But I was firing behind the enemy to cut off his retreat point. So if he did win that firefight, he couldn't pull back without getting hit by my rifle. So basically it forced the enemy to either engage my teammate or fall back and fall into my laser. So it put the enemy into a lose-lose situation there. Or lose and only slightly % chance of win, basically. It put a lot of pressure on the enemy is what that was. So while it may have looked like I was firing on nothing just a second ago, I was actually thoughtfully cutting off the enemy's retreat point with some suppressive fire. Not necessarily suppressive, but tactical fire. And here the enemy laughs because I just took him out with a shield, so I have to respond in chat. I just thought that was a pretty cool point in the match. Now here my exosuit shield isn't fully depleted, but I do have the Riot shield out anyway, because the exosuit shield is basically depleted. We can see down there in the lower right, it's got very little energy left, so.
Friendly UAV above.
Here the enemy fires on me from above, but I don't chase. I let my teammate flank him. And here another enemy potentially sees me, and I don't jump up immediately again. I wait to see if the enemy's going to try and flank me or something so I can defend. And I actually end up getting the killing blow, or the game-winning kill in this one, which is pretty cool. I switch over to my laser rifle, and because the enemy doesn't notice me, get the game-winning kill cam there. Round-ending kill cam, as it may be. Alright, so there's the scoreboard, there's all that good stuff. Now, let's look at some of the scenes that we just saw. Let's slow them down, and let me talk to you about some of the stuff that I learned during the match, and show you how I applied them in this very match. Alright, so the first thing that I noticed in this matchup was that my shield pitch looks different on the enemy screen than it does on my own. Take a look at this scene. We'll see that I follow this enemy up onto this building, and on my screen it looks like I'm blocking his shots, but I'm still taking damage. So I decided to watch the kill cam to see what it looked like on his screen. Because he jumps up, he fires some shots out on me, and to me it looked like my shield was pointed up directly at his gunfire, but on his screen, he's getting clear shots right above my shield, even though on my screen it looks like I'm looking up. So the lesson to be learned here is that I should leave absolutely no room for error, and whenever I'm defending against rounds coming from above, I should just look straight up. So a bit later in the match, we see this applied. The enemy jumps up onto this building here, and then he gets a jump up, he gets some air, and I look straight up this time. I look as far up as the game will let me. So that ends up blocking most of his shots, or he misses them, and the shield does its job. I'm able to defend myself and get a kill with it. Now, I do get taken out by someone from behind me, but the lesson applied is still the same. It's still valid. I was still able to defend myself by learning that on the enemy screen, I should just tilt my shield as far up as I can when blocking from above. So the next lesson is switching modes of play. Now, I talked quite a bit about this earlier, how I've got two different modes of play. The first one is having the rifle and using my exosuit shield, which I just did, but we can see here that I didn't switch to the Riot shield immediately after using my exosuit shield. So the lesson to be learned here is that I should switch modes of play immediately. There is no middle ground. There is no mode of play where I have my rifle and not my exosuit shield. There should always be the option to defend myself here. So the lesson to be learned is that after my exosuit shield is down, I should switch directly to my Riot shield. And we can see that I apply this in the very next fight that I get into. I use up my exosuit shield, and then I switch immediately to my Riot shield, and we can see that it comes in handy right then and there. So that's a lesson that was learned and applied immediately, and I saw results from immediately. We're going to see this again in another scene where this comes into play later in the match. In this particular engagement, I turn around, I use my exosuit shield even though there's nobody there. I took some shots from behind and I used this as a precautionary measure, but either way my exosuit shield is down, so I switch immediately to my Riot suit shield, and as a result I end up going 1 versus 1 against their top player and taking a kill for our team, preventing the enemy team from getting a point, and overall it just works out really well. So, the third of the biggest lessons to be learned here with this mode of play is to avoid greed. We can see here, the enemy is up above, firing down on me. I could do the typical thing and charge at him with my shield, jumping up and meeting him, but he's expecting me. Why would I do that? And here, there's a chance that this enemy sees me. He doesn't, but there's a chance that he does. So instead of chasing him directly up there going for a kill, I bide my time for a little bit, make sure things are safe so that I might be able to get a flank off on him, or, you know, just basically not let him have the advantage. And as a result, I end up with the round-ending kill cam. I end up getting the final blow on the enemy team there. So these are just some of the things that I learned in this particular setup, or in this particular match. And overall, I really like this build. I do have another shield video, and another video with this build ready to be edited, so I'm actually going to get to work on that here in not too long. But I want to get this one uploaded, so in any case, there's the score screen. Oh, also, there's one thing that I do want to talk about, and that's the number of medals that I got in this particular game. We can see here I got Headshot, Avenger, Payback, Kingslayer, Shield Bash, and 9 Crowd Control medals. You make an excellent distraction. This is awesome to me because it means that I'm doing my job. The objective that I set forth for myself, which was to support teammates, it means that this build is being successful at it. And I've also got the Pincushion medal, which means you got stuck with an explosive. Yeah, there's a point in the game where an explosive, I think, gets stuck to my shield, blows up, and does very little. But these 9 crowd control medals are what I was going for. I wasn't actually going for the medals, but it shows that I am successful in the objective. In any case, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.